This whole feud between Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott that's gone on the past couple of weeks has got me thinking back to a NASCAR moment that lives rent-free in my head. Matt Kenseth vs. Joey Logano in 2015. Besides drivers winning the actual championship, this has to be one of the most iconic moments in NASCAR playoff history. This was the second year of the NASCAR playoff format that we currently have today. 3 rounds of elimination and then a championship 4 finale. This particular incident started in the second round. So let's start from the beginning. At the first race in the second round at Charlotte, Matt Kenseth had a rough day. He ended up hitting the wall and wrecking out, getting a 42nd place finish. So immediately to start this round, Matt Kenseth faced a huge points deficit. But Joey Logano, on the other hand, would go on to win that race at Charlotte, locking himself into the next round. The following week at Kansas, Matt Kenseth would rebound quite nicely and lead the most laps in the race. However, this is where everything started.
Comes a 22. He's closed the gap all over the back bumper now as they've caught this slower traffic. And around goes the 20, sideways in front of the 22. Kansas slides. Caution comes out. The 22 was all over the back bumper of the 20 as they entered turn 1.
I got plans when I come the first time. Joey spun me out, lifted my tires off the ground.
In the closing laps, Joey Logano is running Matt Kenseth down. Matt puts a big block on Joey, putting the 22 in the wall ever so slightly. Joey obviously does not appreciate this and ends up spinning Matt going into turn number 1. This whole thing here, you could probably chalk it up to, yeah, pretty good hard racing. And I would agree with that. I completely understand what Matt Kenseth was trying to do. He was trying to win the race. He was doing what he needed to do to win this race. And he definitely needed that win after the 42nd place finish the previous week to start the round. And honestly, I can't fault Matt Kenseth for anything he did here. But when you go to Joey Logano's side, this is where things get a little more interesting. And not just because he ended up turning Matt Kenseth. I completely understand Joey Logano's situation here too. You ran him down, you have the faster car, you're going for the win, he blocks you, puts you in the wall, you're not going to cut the guy a break. And I completely understand that. But given this situation, unfortunately, he wasn't really thinking of the bigger picture. Due to his win the previous week, Joey's already locked into the next round. He doesn't need to go out here and win this race. Matt, on the other hand, he does. So that's why Matt Kenseth was definitely a lot more aggressive. But if Joey just showed a little more patience, maybe he still would have ended up winning the race. He had the faster car, there's still a few laps left, he probably could have got around him. Even if he finished second, that's still a great day. But at the time, his instinct of a race car driver kicked in and he was going for the win. And little did he know at that time, it would change everything that season. There was no after-race confrontation between these two, and they didn't talk the entire week between this race and the next one. So I feel like that might have escalated this whole entire situation by not talking about it. But here's what these guys had to say after this race.
Kenseth, who led the most laps this afternoon, but has a 14th place finish to show for it. Obviously, the signature moment was the incident with Joey Logano. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's hard to drive the car with the rear tires off the ground. So, I was moving around the best I could. Joey was a lot tighter, a lot faster on a short run, but we were so much better in a long run. And I could still kind of get up the top and get around and get around them and catching 2 lap cars. And crazy so I was clear, and I pulled up in front of him, and he just lifted my tires off the ground and wrecked me.
What will you talk to Joey about in regards to this incident?
Oh, I won't talk to Joey. I don't have anything to talk to him about, really. So, you make decisions every day. You make decisions every minute behind the wheel. To me, strategically, that doesn't seem like such a great decision for him. But it's the one he made, and that's how he wanted to win. So I'm one of the only guys I think that haven't been into it yet with Joey. And I've always raced him with a ton of respect. I've actually been one of his biggest fans. Certainly not anymore, but I always was. So, it's a shame. I'm glad the car's not wrecked. We'll just go on Talladega and race him there.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Matt Kenseth has his work cut out for him in Talladega, Rick, that's for sure.
Describe your role as the second place car, Joey, in those closing laps.
This is good hard racing, we were racing each other really hard, and I felt like I got fenced twice down the straightaways, and he raced me hard, so I raced him hard back, and that's just that's hard racing. That's the way I race. If I get raced like that, I'll race the same way. That's just how I've always been, and it'll always be that way. So I just really couldn't be more proud of this team, though. To be sitting in such a great position going into Talladega makes us feel really, really good.
You have blocked some people from victory lane here today, including Matt. How do you feel about that strategy-wise going into round three, the third race in this round?
The fact that we're the only team that can relax right now is going to pay big dividends when we get to Martinsville. Everyone else is a little bit nervous. Our goal is still to win the race, even though we were moved on to the next round. Our goal is still to win that race and try to get some guys nervous for next week. That's kind of the strategy of this chase, and to be able to do that today. Like I said, it's gonna be more proud. These guys they work so hard, and Todd Gordon, he's a freaking genius. So it's fun to drive his car.
Obviously, Matt disagrees with how this went down today. Did you consider it a good move?
Well, I didn't think it was a good move when I hit the wall. So, I'm sure we'll talk about it. And I just felt like, hey, I got raced hard, I got fenced twice, so I wasn't gonna put up with it.
All right, the good news for Joey Logano, he is in victory lane. Win number 2 in a row at Kansas, and 2 in a row in this round.
The next week at Talladega, Joey Logano would actually go on to win again and completely sweep the second round. Unfortunately, Matt Kenseth was caught up in another accident and was eliminated from playoff contention at this point. This race in itself was very controversial as well, and maybe that will be a future video. But even during this race, these two had a little dust up.
Here comes another group of cars peeling off.
Come on, watching this 20, coming. And 22 chopped right across me. Tell that 22 I'm going to knock his ass out after the race. You tell him. Tell him to hide behind his daddy. Came from the third lane. I don't even think he was going to pit. Turned right down in front of me and brake checked me.
Nothing else came out of it besides this little dust up getting onto pit road. And like I said, Logano went on to win the race. So now, here we are, kicking off the final round of the chase, or the Eliminator round is what it was called at the time. Joey Logano would get the pole and dominate for the majority of the day, looking like he was easily going to win his 4th race in a row. His teammate Brad Keselowski was also running very well during this race, and the two throughout the day would work together on restarts to make sure that they would be able to keep their track position up front. However, with less than 100 laps to go, a late race restart would change everything.
Kenseth the round out in front of the field. The 41 has damage. Joey Logano clears him, but the 2, incredible damage on the 2 of Brad Keselowski as well.
We talked about this, the Penske cars trying to let one another in. Well, if you're back in row 2, how can you try to prevent that? You try to push those guys through 1 and 2, trying to push the issue. There was some heavy contact, heavy damage on the 2, really heavy on the 41, and of all people, lucky dog goes to Carl Edwards, the other chase car.
It looked like on the restart, they just didn't do a good job of making the transition. They took off slow, and the 22 got at the racetrack, the 2 got in the back of the 22, and they come off the corner, and the 20 and the 2 make contact. It's on from there.
Yeah, and the 41, it really has nowhere to go. They spin and catch the 41. He makes heavy contact with the inside wall.
It's coming off turn 2. There's the initial contact.
Look at the 41. It's a big hit. But, this all started on the restart.
So on a late race restart, Matt Kenseth gets taken out again, but this time it's by Brad Keselowski, who happens to be Joey Logano's teammate. So this was the absolute last straw for Matt. Obviously what's happened the last couple weeks has been fresh on his mind, but if he really wanted to take Joey Logano out, he could have done it much earlier in the race, as the two had this little confrontation. So if Matt really wanted to wreck him, that would have been a perfect opportunity to do it. So after the contact with Keselowski, Matt Kenseth's team was able to repair his car enough to get him back out onto the track to collect some points. This is well before NASCAR introduced the damaged vehicle policy that we have today. So when Matt's back out on the track, he decides, well, you'll see.
And Kenseth cleared by Logano. Maybe no! Kenseth takes him out! Logano into the wall! Caution comes out and the crowd roars!
Going on down here.
I know we had talked about it after what we saw a couple weeks ago. I was the first to say I never expected that to happen out of the 20 car.
Helmets coming off of the crew members of the 20. Joey Logano stuck in the grass. If the 20 of Matt Kenseth can continue, NASCAR has said he will be parked. Helmet is already off of the 20. And we have to remind you why this is happening.
Joey, stay in the car.
A couple races ago at Kansas, Matt Kenseth was leading. Joey Logano running second. You can tell how the fans feel about it. The red flag is out as they will have to clean the track up. A couple races ago in Kansas, the team told Joey to stay in the car, but obviously Joey out of the car, not able to continue on. In the latter laps of the race at Kansas, Joey Logano had a faster car than Matt Kenseth. He got behind him. He bumped him going into turn one. He turned Kenseth around. After the race, Kenseth said, "That's not the way I want to be raced."
So Matt Kenseth gets his revenge on Joey Logano, and rightfully so. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this moment has lived rent-free in my head since the day it happened, and I'll never ever forget this. All of this was definitely easily preventable if Joey Logano took the right steps to doing so. Fortunately, he didn't, and Matt Kenseth got him where it would hurt the most in the beginning of the next round. So did Joey Logano deserve this? Yeah, he probably did, but I don't necessarily agree with the way Matt Kenseth went about it, being a wrecked car, getting lapped, and then just completely taking out the leader. If Matt did it earlier in the race, like that clip I showed of him bumping Joey out of the way, if he just wrecked him racing for position or racing for the win, then I think it would have been a completely different story. Matt Kenseth was suspended for 2 races after his actions here, and if he wrecked him going for the win, I don't think there would have been any consequences. But this is the kind of stuff that you get. NASCAR kind of created this monster here by making the playoff format the way that they did, and this is kind of what we saw these last couple weeks with Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick. So hearing a little bit of my opinion on this situation, let's actually hear from the drivers themselves. Let's see what Joey said and what Matt Kenseth said and their opinion on this whole thing.
Joey Logano has walked out of the infield care center. Joey, are you surprised?
Well, yeah, I thought, I think what happened in Kansas is a completely different deal. We were racing for the win, and he blocks you a few times, and then we raced hard, and he blocked me last time, and we spun out. That's what happened there. Here is just a complete coward move, especially for a championship race car driver and race team. Just complete coward. I don't have anything else to say. It's a chicken, move to completely take out the leader when your race is over, and we'll move on. We're going to work hard, and we're going to get our car back out there, hopefully, and we just got to win.
Joey, between then and now, had you made any attempt at all to try to resolve the situation with Matt?
They won't let me get to him.
10-4. Obviously very disappointed. His chase is in jeopardy now for the championship round, Rick.
What is your side of the story, Matt?
Well, it's a really disappointing day. I thought we were going to have a shot at the win there. And, they were jacking up the restart real bad to let each other and his teammates, which that's just fine. And Brad went in there, and I got outside of Joey, and I was going to try to race him for the win, and Brad wiped me out for some reason. I'm not really sure why. And then we had so much damage on the right front. I should have probably just put it in the garage and just got into one and couldn't get it to turn, and ran Joey over. So disappointing end for sure.
Joey said it was a complete coward move on your part. Your reaction to that?
I don't have any comments for that.
There will be people who say there was intent involved, even though you said you had a right front go down. What's your comment to those folks?
Well, there's people who say a lot of things. The splitter was trying to take ground and, got into the corner and, certainly ruined his day. I know what it's like to be that, too. Some days you're the bat, some days you're the ball. It's never fun when you're the ball. So, like I said, disappointing end to our chase. And, he's got a couple races left. He's got the best car. He might get a couple wins here and still have a shot at it. So, certainly disappointed it came down to that, man. I was out there trying to race hard as I could for Dollar General and try to get the win. I really thought we were going to have a shot for a win before, they got me the first time. So, disappointed to get wiped out twice in the last 4 weeks with a shot to win for sure.
Do you think this is over, or do you see another chapter maybe coming in retribution from him?
I don't know. I feel like every week's a new week. Go out and race. You know, do what you think is right. Race as hard as you can, and just take it 1 week at a time. You know, so I don't know. I try to do the best I can. You never like to be in these situations. They really stink, to be honest with you. But sometimes you get put in these spots, and you know, you gotta try to keep respect in the garage area. And you can't get yourself ran over. You can't get in a chase next year and get ran over for the same reason. So, like I said, I hate the way it ended. Wish we were out there celebrating or having a shot for the win like we did before we got wrecked. So, disappointing day.
Matt Kenseth, very matter-of-fact about it, Rick, but that is his side of the story.
Now, I got to give credit to Matt for trying to play it off like he had a mechanical failure, and that's what caused him to get into Joey Logano, as he never admitted that he actually did it on purpose. But come on, Matt, I think everyone saw through that and knew it was on purpose. You weren't going to fool anyone with that one. Good effort, got to give him credit. Like I said earlier in the video, he received a 2-race suspension because of this, and Eric Jones replaced him for those 2 races. And then Matt returned for the finale at Homestead. Unfortunately for Joey Logano, when it rains, it pours. The very next week at Texas, Joey was running 4th, only 10 laps into the race, and he blew a left rear tire and spun out, causing significant damage to his car, and he would get a 40th place finish, which was actually worse than his finish at Martinsville, where he finished 37th. The final race in the round at Phoenix, Joey would go on to finish 3rd, but that would not be good enough to get him into the championship 4. So that right there is the whole story of the Matt Kenseth Joey Logano fiasco that happened in 2015. I hope that breaks down the whole story for you, and I hope you had as much fun watching this video and reliving this moment as I did making it. I hope to see you guys in the next video, so subscribe to the channel for more NASCAR content as well as some other motorsports related stuff. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you didn't. Either way, I greatly appreciate your feedback, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.